Welcome back to We Still Like Each Other, the podcast. I'm Travis.
And I'm Stephanie.
And this is the podcast where we show that the honeymoon stage can last forever.
Forever and ever. And today we are obviously joined by two very special guests. We have Yaretsy and Kevin. Am I saying your name correctly?
Yes. Well, it's Yaretsy.
Yaretsy. So it's like a J sound.
Put some
respect. Fine. We'll put some respect on that because I disrespected her and I spelled her name incorrectly in the email. Yeah. And what's crazy about it is I have a friend, she's a writer, Lorraine, and she made a whole post about like email etiquette. And one of her slides was, for the love of God, double check that you spell the name correctly. And then I spelled her name wrong in the email.
It happens,
literally, this was the day before.
Yeah.
I just looked at that post. I was so upset. But welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yaretsy and Kevin are the co-owners of Casaroma Cafe.
Yes.
It's a coffee shop, kinda, you'll clarify, coming to the Rochelle area. You're also fellow creatives, podcasters. So welcome to our home.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
What's the name of your podcast?
Wolf and Unicorn Podcast.
Nice. And you all haven't been doing it often?
Yeah, we took a little break and then took a longer break. And then now we're focused on coffee shop. But the plan is once we have the shop open, we're going to make a new show with a different branding, around the coffee shop. But
do you think inside the coffee shop?
Yeah, we're going to shoot it inside the coffee shop.
Nice.
So it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool.
And you'll have us as guests?
Oh, for sure. For sure. So not to say we won't come back to Wolf and Unicorn at some point because we think, that's who we are. That's what people know us as. But we have to put all our resources into the shop.
Into the shop, yeah.
Okay. So speaking of who you are, could you tell us, our listeners, a little bit about who you are?
Yeah. So, I mean, as individuals, right?
Yeah.
I'm Yaretsy, and I have been like a creative, I think, since I was a little girl. Like, I've always been into that part of like the arts. So when we decided to actually, aside from our partnership, like do something in the creative world, I was all for it. So that's when we started the podcast. Gotcha. But I've also had a very intense love for like coffee.
Okay.
So I explored that on my social media as well. Like I had a series where I had Coffee with Yadi, and like I just went to several coffee shops and tested it and, told the viewers about it. So I always spoke about having a coffee shop.
Gotcha.
But like as a passive thing, like, oh, when I have my coffee shop or like whatever. And then this past year, we really started talking about it as like a real thing. Mm-hmm. And now we're here. Like we're opening the shop this year. So I'm just so excited to do this, and I think that it's something that's missing in the community where we're gonna bring it to. So I'm like,
and it's
so
honestly
thrilled.
Like, not to sound corny, but like brave, right? Because we get a lot of another podcast. There's a billion podcasts, right? And it's like y'all are opening a coffee shop when there's Starbucks fucking everywhere,
right? Exactly.
So, it's like it takes a lot of guts. You really believe in yourself and your message to be doing it. So like kudos to you.
What was that push? What was that from the moment of just having conversations about it to let's see what we can do?
So Kevin was that push for me. Like he's always been that for like every big thing that I've done in my life. I think that I've had that push from someone. And more recently, like since we've been together 8 years, he's been that push for me. Okay. So for the coffee shop, he really like sat me down and was like, let's have a conversation about what's next. Like, what do you want to do? Because I was just unhappy at the time and just like stuck and not feeling very creative. It was around the time where we were on the break for the podcast. Mm-hmm. And I didn't even think like the coffee thing. And he was like, you always talk about a coffee shop. Like, do you really want to do this? And I was like, wait, are we going to do this?
Right.
Like, are we going to open a coffee shop? And he was like, so what do we need to do? And then we started outlining what needed to be done, what we needed to do on our end. And we wrote a business plan and like we're here.
That's awesome. So Kevin, who are you?
Right.
And
just to tail off her real quick, how this all got started in terms of coffee shop. I'm pretty high up in my company. I climbed the corporate ladder and I know what's up there. Mm-hmm. And I kind of told her, I was like, listen, if you don't love this, it ain't nothing at the top. You could work your way up. It's just going to be the same stuff, same shit, different toilet, I always say. But
so were you also in corporate?
Yeah. So I was actually in a job that I enjoyed and I was still kind of unhappy. So I'm like, something's missing. Yeah. Like, I love it here. I'm good at this, but there's still something.
Yeah. So I'm like I'm 2 years older than her. So I'm like, listen, I'm here already. Like what you're working towards, I'm here. It's not pretty at the top.
You're not going to be happy.
It's not going to change. So it's going to get worse. Actually, you'll get more money, of course, but your happiness will slowly dwindle.
Decline.
Right.
Are those correlated?
Yeah. More money, less happiness. right. So yeah, that's kind of how we kind of got started, and why I kind of wanted to push her. Okay. But also, I did lose 2 of my close friends last year, and you know. People say life is short, but you don't realize until that hits you. So that was kind of like, we got to do something else. Like, if you're not happy with it, let's just do something else. We got to start working towards new goals. So, but yeah, that was the push for me to push to her. So,
definitely.
So
I know you're in corporate. You want to speak a little bit on what you do?
Not
so specific.
Yeah, sure. I'm business operations manager for NYU Langone Hospital.
Oh, okay.
So I manage a lot of our care management programs, as well as budgeting. Any operations, any new programs coming along, they usually pull me in to kind of get them set up and stuff. But yeah.
Okay. So go ahead.
I was going to say, well, she spoke about her unhappiness.
Right.
Well, you're happy with the job, but still kind of unhappy.
Yeah, it was just something missing. Like,
so do you have the same issue?
Yeah. So, to be honest, I'm not like passionate about my work. I'm very good at it. Like I'm amazing. But
period.
Sorry to toot my own horn, but it's a fact.
That's fine. We have to.
It's a fact. But it's it's not challenging for me, but I can do it, and it pays well. So really, I'm just using the money we get from there to fund what we really want to do. So, but yeah, I don't love it. So I'm actually not even like for promotions and stuff. I'm like I'm good. I'm like this part is I'm good here. So yeah, no promotions. Just leave me where I'm at. Give me my little 3% every year, and we're good. So,
all right.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, does what you do for your job, your 9 to 5, does it help you a little bit in the business aspect of the coffee shop?
For sure. I think the business part of it, I manage new programs coming in. So I'm the one who does the budget and builds the plan and creates the operation, creates the process and procedures. So I can put that same energy into our coffee shop as well.
Okay.
So you have a cheat code over here.
Oh, I absolutely do. Are you kidding me? I'm like, this is a business dude. Like anything, if we're on a call, like we've been interviewing a lot of people, like whether architects or designers or whoever it is. And whenever they ask a question like on the business or financial side, I'm like, so my business partner here, he will answer that.
Right. Yadi's completely the face, and but
I wanted to talk more about the business on the second half of the show,
Oh.
but obviously you're so passionate about it. And
whatever you guys want.
The conversation's going perfectly, so I want to just continue that. We'll get to the other stuff later. That was going to be one of my questions. Like, what roles do you each take for the business?
Yeah, so I like to think that I'm like, when you think about a restaurant or a shop, you think front of the house, back of the house. I think I'm the front of the house. Like I'm the person who's there. I'm the person who is like bringing, the energy and the passion and like being that friendly face and just like bringing the warmth into the business. And also the coffee part of it.
Gotcha.
So I actually have reeled in like him and Donnell, who's our partner, into this coffee world of mine.
Gotcha.
Like they have the other stuff, Donnell has the media and all of that and like the relationships, and Kevin has the financials and the business part of it. But I'm just like kind of like bringing everything in together and making it like as corny as it sounds, like a home.
Yeah.
Because I want this place to be like a home.
She's bringing the vibes.
Yeah.
And that's not corny.
Right.
Like that feeling of home needs to be curated, and not everyone has it in their technical home.
Right.
So that feeling, it's not corny.
Right. Have you ever like walked into a place and it's like, I'm not really feeling it.
Yeah.
I don't feel welcomed here. And we were testing. We tried pretty much every coffee shop in Westchester and like most of it in the Bronx. And there's a few places where I'm like, I was shocked. I was like, really? This is like a Black-owned place, and I didn't feel welcome. Like there was no positivity, there was no smiles, there was no energy. So I was like, yeah, we're on to something.
Yeah.
So.
I did waitressing for a lot of years, and I'm very big on customer service and feeling welcomed and feeling like I'm appreciated there. So I totally get that.
Right.
It's funny because I go to Chick-fil-A for lunch. And, the memes are very true about Chick-fil-A. Like it's very like, hey, how are you? Have a great day. Any sauce? And someone, I think I handed her my card and she accidentally poked me with her nail. Sorry about my nail. And it's just like,
What'd they call me at Chick-fil-A? That time we was laughing.
I can't remember.
Oh, Mr. Kevin?
Mr. Kevin.
Mr. Kevin, here's your sandwich. I was like, thank you, my fine sir. Appreciate it.
One time we were driving like upstate New York, and like the lady at Wendy's drive-thru was so nice, and we remember, we couldn't stop talking about that. We're like, oh my God, that lady was amazing.
Some customer service.
Right, you remember that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
You
we
remember
remember.
that.
It sticks with you.
Right.
Absolutely. Definitely. So one question, we're talking about business and relationships. You've been together 8 years. Has there been any hesitation with like how opening a business together might impact your relationship?
Personally, for me, no.
Okay.
Like we've worked together before.
Okay.
So we've done the podcast, we've done other projects like we had before all this craziness in the world. We would actually use our brand to like curate events.
Okay.
Where we like brought people together, creatives, and we had performers and we had people meet, which ended up like with people working together in the future. So like we were building that community since way before. So when it comes to this part of our like, partnership, I had no doubt. I'm like, I have no doubt everything's going to work out. And even, I know that even with, challenges and disagreements, like we're going to be fine. Like I just have that confidence. So for me, the answer is no. I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I'd say 50-50 for me. I wasn't hesitant about it, but there were ideas in my head where I'm like, I don't want to bump heads on this. If it's a big deal, you win kind of thing. But we're both the kind of people who are strong-minded, and sometimes if she really believes in something, I really believe in the other way. Sometimes we can clash a little bit. So I think it's good to have our third party Donnell, in the business with us as a tiebreaker. But she's majority owner of the company, but I'm just here to guide her and help her along the way. But she knows if I'm giving her some information or advice, it's not like to be malicious or anything.
Right.
I'm like really trying to grow this business because I want to quit my job too. Like,
Okay.
so everything, everything I'm saying to her, it's like, it's for a reason. It's not just like trying to argue or fight or anything. So
Yeah. And I've been trying to exercise the like pulling back from being combative and like having like such a high like defense on everything. So this is great practice for that. And not just with us, like with anyone, because like people around you, my family, friends and family, like this is like their project too. So people like have their 2 cents, they have inputs, they have ideas, and like I have to kind of like take it in, but not internalize it. So this is a great practice for that too. Like when he has some ideas that I don't agree with immediately, I'm like, let me take a moment and think about it instead of being like, that's a bad idea. Right.
When did this feel real for I guess for you, Yar?
I think when we submitted the application to like become an LLC, I was like, okay, like this is real, because we had been talking about it. We were writing the business plan. It's a funny story. Like I actually got COVID last year, and like we were just writing the business plan the whole time. Like I had no symptoms. I wasn't like sick. So we like took that my quarantine to like do that. And then it was like, okay, we have this document, but like, okay, what does this mean? So like when we put in the application, I was like, okay, like this is like, we actually had to put money up to do that.
Right.
And then the second wave of it being like, holy shit, this is real, was me quitting my job. I'm like, this is it. Like,
right. That was crazy.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Did you ever debate keeping your job and trying to do both?
So he told me like his goal like was for me to quit my job for my birthday. Like when we started talking about this last year, he's like, I want you to put in your resignation for your birthday. Like that's your birthday present, because he knows how much like that would mean to me. And everything worked out that my last
so
day.
Sweet. Wait, I'm like, oh shit, your birthday gift. Okay.
Yeah.
You free.
Yeah. And it like worked out. I put him like, without thinking about what he said, we were just planning like our move and this and that, and like putting in my resignation and giving the company those 2 weeks because I really respected them, and that, like I didn't want to leave them, hanging like that. And my last day was the 11th, and my birthday was the 12th. Like,
Nice.
Isn't that crazy?
He manifested that.
Yeah.
Speak it into existence, they say, right?
What were those exit interviews like? I'm opening a coffee shop.
Everyone's so like, they were so excited for me.
Her job is so cool.
They were like, I was like crying, like I was just overwhelmed with emotion because of the support that I was receiving, because everybody was sad to see me go, because like I was so good at my job, and like they're like, who else is gonna do this? But they were so happy for me, and like a bunch of people donated to our campaign from my job. Like they just donated, they shared my LinkedIn post, they were like telling their friends about it. A lot of people said that they were gonna, like a lot of people even lived in Westchester that I didn't know. Like I started my job in the middle of the pandemic, so I didn't get to meet people for like a year. And then there's people that I actually never really met, that I only like Slacked or talked to, who were messaging me like, I can't wait to come to your coffee shop. Like it was awesome.
That must feel great.
So yeah, I was like, this is good. I'm doing the right thing.
So thinking of our audience, the first thing I'm thinking, everyone's going to be like, she quit her job and because her boyfriend wanted her to. Does she have a plan? Yeah. So can you speak a little to that? And how you know, especially as a woman, we're told, Dominican women, prepare, you can't depend on nobody. Right. So can you speak a little to that and how you prepared for this decision?
Yeah. So, we have in our minds already, like, this is a done deal. Like, this is going to be a success. There's no doubt in my mind. I was telling him yesterday, like, this is the first time that I'm doing something that I'm completely fearless. Like, I have no fear. I'm just like, it's going to work out. Like, just because I know and I feel it. And every time something happens, like we run into somebody and they're like an architect, or like we talk to somebody and they, know a person who has like a plumbing company that we just so happen to need. I'm like, this is confirmation that we are walking with intention and doing everything we're supposed to be doing, because things are just happening.
They're just coming into your path at the right time.
Honestly, I feel like, we've been chosen for this, or something bigger. I don't know. But it's like, this started December 3rd. I remember December 3rd. And we ordered an espresso machine just to like test beans out. Yeah. I didn't drink coffee at all till after that coffee machine came. So I hadn't tried coffee at all. But now I'm like, I won't toot my own horn again, but
he's an expert.
He's like, so you do it for me.
Yeah, you got me right, baby.
Pick me up.
Yeah, but I'm getting really good at like getting the flavors we want out of the beans and stuff. And like, I took apart our espresso machine and put it back together again. I'm like really getting technical with it. So,
well, I'm drinking some espresso that you all brought me, and it's delicious. It's so good. I keep wanting to get some.
I'm so happy you like it.
It's really good.
Is there a meaning behind the name?
So when we started talking about
it's a funny story.
Well, when we started talking about the concept of what we're trying to do, we were just mostly talking about what environment we wanted to create. Like, what's the environment going to be like? Like, what do you want it to feel like? And, I just want it to be like home. Like, I want it to be homey and people to come in and want to stay, especially in these times where so many of us, myself included, are like craving connection, because we've been like in our heads for 2 years. I'm just like, I want a place where people can come and stay. Like, I'm tired of the takeout. I'm tired of the mobile ordering. I want people to come, work, meet other people, do whatever they need to do in my shop. So like, I want it to be homey, right? So like, I want it to have something in Spanish, because like I'm Dominican, and that's going to be the whole theme of the shop. So I'm just like, I want it to feel like home, like casa.
So the original, what was the original name we liked?
Aroma Pour. Yeah.
But we put it in like a name generator, one of those name generators, for a coffee shop, and the name Aroma kept coming up. So we were like, let's work with Aroma. Let's throw Aroma around.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got exactly to Casaroma. We actually asked our following to like
we sent out a survey.
So they actually picked Casaroma, but we were going to go with Aroma Pour,
Yeah, it was. I have it on my, I have a little manifesting notebook that I started when we started writing our business plan. And I have all the names that we wrote out, and like Casaroma was the very last one. Like, we just like came up with it like at the last. It was like, what about Casaroma, or like Casa Aroma? But then I was like, Casaroma is like all one word. Let's do that. And it wasn't like my favorite. It wasn't even in my top 3. But we sent it out, and like everybody picked that one. It's really nice. So I was like, and my sister's like, you better pick the one that the people pick. Like, I know you. You're probably gonna go with your favorite. Pick what I want.
Right. Doesn't matter what you guys say. No.
But like, as people started being excited about it, like it really grew on me, and I was like, this is the name. Like,
right. I hate when people separate the name, by the way.
Please don't separate
Casa Aroma.
Yeah. No, it's all one word. House of Aroma, but it's all one word. But
I like it. I like it a lot.
And
I love the logo too.
Oh, appreciate it. Shout out to PU.
Yeah.
Oh man, crush the logo. Man. Crazy.
Yeah, amazing. Everything is just like perfect.
Definitely. I was gonna ask you, so I love what you're talking about with manifesting and everything going well and everything falling into your path, but we might have some hiccups, right?
Right.
Has anything ever happened in your, like, something to prepare you for future hiccups in the business, like maybe in the podcasting or in your other creative endeavors together, that you're like, I'm glad we went through that, because if we go through something similar, we're prepared?
I think I can think about things that happened to me, like, personally.
Okay.
I have always faced adversity with, like, anything that I try to do. And it's just like something, and that's why I think with this business endeavor, it's like everything is happening and I'm just like, oh my God, like, this feels amazing. So I've always had to face, like, whether it's like backlash or pushback from even my own family, like, why are you moving to New York? What is wrong with you? Like,
where are you from? Where's your family from?
My family's in Rhode Island.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, why are you going to move to New York? Like, you have nobody out there. Like you said earlier, you're going to be dependent on a man. Like, that's not safe. That's not secure. And I'm like, I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure that I'm good. But, like, it's always like, damn, are they right? So I've always had that. So I feel, I don't want to say I'm like 100% prepared for what's to come, but I am confident in us figuring stuff out together. Like, that's how I feel. That's how I'm going into it, being like okay with the fact that something might happen that I have never faced before and that we can figure it out.
Right.
Definitely. So far, what has been your biggest gain in starting this business, like, for your relationship?
I think besides the podcast, we didn't do too many things together during the pandemic. Like, we were home together, like, just doing nothing, like watching TV, watching Netflix, but we weren't like actively working on something together. So I think this gets us, gives us a chance to like really show each other what we can do, like, not just, as lovers, but as professionals, and like really build something from scratch. So I think that's something I've gained. Like, I can see how you react to certain things, and if it's positive or negative, then it's good for me to see her. And then I can say, listen, I see you're going through something, because I can notice those things, something her manager or something might not see, or her, coworker might not see. I'm actively seeing it. I'm like, listen, I got this, or, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. So I think I'm able to help her more and grow as a person as well. So
That's beautiful, because we talk about how, especially now, our jobs are really trying to focus on mental health and like making sure everybody's okay, but it's like, really, like, you're still uncomfortable to like say, I need a mental health day. It's still kind of awkward. But if it's your partner in your business, it's kind of perfect, you know?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Sorry about that. We're going to get back into a little more Casaroma stuff in a bit. Yeah. But I wanted to pedal back and ask, who tells the better version of how you two met?
Oh, me for sure.
It's factual?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a funny story either way.
Okay. Yeah, so since you think you tell it best, can you tell us?
Yeah. And I'll chime in here.
I was going to say, if you think she's messing it up, you can chime in.
I got you.
So Kevin was stalking me.
Hold up.
He's like, already
out of line.
So Kevin was he followed me on Twitter by like, we had a mutual I guess follower or something. And he followed me on Twitter, and like he would respond to like basically almost anything that I tweeted, even stuff in Spanish. Like he would like answer, like say something, and I'm like, he had a photo that was like all hookah smoke, so it wasn't his face. So I was like, who is this troll? Like,
it was my burner account.
Right. It was, we were speaking earlier about like his alter egos. It was one of his alter egos.
What name was this?
Roy T.
Roy T.
The wolves know what's up. You know what's up. If y'all watching.
So he followed me and like would respond to a lot of things, and I hate saying this because it sounds so like whatever, but I had a lot of people hitting me up, right? I had a lot of people.
Hottie.
I had a lot of people responding to my tweets and like my DMs. But he was very persistent and like not like trying to holla, just like responding. And then so his username became very like noticeable, like I knew who it was. And then he said, he tweeted one time, like, I'm going to take my next date to the casino. Excuse me. And I was like, when are we going?
Ooh.
Right?
My shot.
I was like,
Right.
gotta reel it in. Just gotta reel it in.
I don't even like the casino. Like, I hate gambling.
But you like that hookah smoke
He,
picture.
But you didn't even know he looked like it.
no, I didn't know.
Oh, wow.
He was just like somebody that like always like, hits me up. So it was like an internet friend kind of thing.
Yeah.
He DM'd me so fast. So fast. He's like, so when are we going? Like, oh, we go this weekend or whatever. And then we started like chatting on the DMs. And then he's like, oh, text me. Ooh. And I was like, I don't have your number. Like,
so hit my line, girl.
So he sent me the number. I texted him, and my phone number starts with a 401 because I'm in Rhode Island. And he goes, what the hell is 401?
I never heard it.
So I was like, it's the area code. Like, I'm in Rhode Island. And he was like, what? Like, he's probably like, all this work I'm putting in, and she's not even in New York. Like, so like we still talked and like FaceTime for like a couple of weeks, and he was like, listen, I still want to take you out. Like, I'll drive up. Like, I don't care.
Us New Yorkers, we think the world is New York.
Right.
Like, everyone's in New York.
Right.
So, yeah.
I looked it up. It was like a 2.5, 3 hour drive.
Where you
That's
from?
light.
Bronx. I was in the Bronx.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, it's not horrible. I just told everybody where I was going. I was like, yo, if anything happened to me out there,
This
so
is her
funny.
Twitter, her name.
Right.
this is where I'm gonna be at.
We both had like escape plans.
Right.
Because like I was like, I don't know this man, like, and like I was like kind of going into it like very not naive, but like, it's fine. We've been talking. Like I saw his face, we FaceTime. Like, it's fine. And all my friends are like, he's going to kill you. Like, are you insane? Like, they're like, I have like people on speed dial, like everything. And it was one of those dates that was like all day long. So people are like, are you okay? Like, where are you?
Sound like a lesbian
Lesbian
date.
date. Yeah. A couple episodes ago. That's what we
Yeah.
consider a lesbian date.
Oh,
When you have
Right.
the all-day date.
And then he goes,
I drove 3 hours. We chilling all day. I'm sorry, but you with me today the whole day.
and then he's like, I had a knife in the car. I'm like, what the hell? He's like, well, I don't know if you're trying to set me up. I'm like,
right.
he's like, it's your state.
But
it's your
nowadays, that's not
people.
even like far-fetched.
No, it's
That recently
just in
happened.
case.
That happened recently. Yeah, some girl set up a guy in the Bronx and they
no.
robbed him and held him for ransom.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But their first meetup was at an apartment. Like, that's
Right,
yeah.
right. Like, we met at
Outside.
a restaurant. Yeah.
No, yeah.
Did I miss anything? Or?
No, I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
I was, hitting a lot of girls up too at the time.
Okay,
Boy was
yeah.
active back then, but
He was just shooting.
something got to stick.
So then after that, you just got together. Like, the
yeah,
rest
it
was
was
history.
the long distance was tough. Because we were long distance for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
5 years.
I mean, I was in school. So I was like, I always had a plan that I was going to move to New York. But I was still in school. I was still in college. Like, I had a job and everything. So I was like, and first we're like just dating. I'm not just going to move to New York.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like either we try this long distance or like we just never talk to each other and like wonder what could have been when we like had such a strong connection. So I was like, I'm down to try long distance. I've done it before. My parents do it. My mom travels back and forth. So I'm not like a total stranger to that kind of lifestyle. But he was like,
Yeah,
okay.
it was different for me.
Like,
were you
what?
on your lesbian shit? like, you got to move in.
No. I was, it was cool. I think because we were long distance, we're still here today. Because I was out partying those years. Because I was probably like 22, 23. I had a decent job. I'm out getting a little money. In the club buying bottles, going crazy. And if she would have been there for that, she'd be like, I'm not dealing with this nonsense.
Me neither.
Did it drive you crazy even from a long distance?
Yes, of course. I was like, stalker. Like I was like, it was like literally affecting my mental health. Like I was like on my phone and like I follow like all his friends and like their friends.
Like hide your story from her. Because if she sees me out here, like
this is perfect because we get a lot of people like asking us for advice and we can only speak to our experience. So we've had a couple long distance relationship questions and we're like, oh yeah, we don't really know. This is perfect. So how'd you handle that?
Listen,
there's a lot of fighting, a lot of arguing. We broke up twice. Yeah.
We were very toxic. Like I'm the first to say, like people are like, "Oh, goals, you guys are so cute," and blah blah blah, and I'm like, it was not like this. Like it was very very toxic. Right. And I think
it's just. I'm just thinking about that time we was arguing in front of the bar. Like,
oh my God. Oh no! Which time?
Which bar?
It was like West 90 something Street.
With the beer pong.
Yeah, with the beer pong.
Yes, I remember that night.
And then like somebody came up and was like, "Oh, you guys are so cute!" Like
literally in the middle of a fight.
I was like, okay, like, and
then it's like back to
right.
I was like, I guess we look good together. Let's end this argument.
It's so crazy because like people around us, they're like, oh my God, you guys, whatever. And like we were like fighting. Like it was so toxic. I was like, I didn't trust anything that he told me. Like, and when you're long distance, all you have to do is turn your phone off. I'm like, that's it. Like we wouldn't talk for days. So we had to like, after we broke up and got back together and decided to like really work on it, we had to like set certain like kind of like ground rules. Like we have to talk. Like it doesn't matter if you're mad, if we're going to argue or scream, but we need to talk. Because if we don't talk, then it's like, that's it. Like that's all you have.
What was it that Kiara called that? Stonewalling. And if you're long distance, it's so easy to do it.
So easy.
And then it's going to the other room.
Right. But I think the benefits of it, I think like in past relationships, like I saw the person so much, I was like, I'm kind of bored. In this one, I feel like long distance gave me a chance to actually miss her. So like when we finally did move in together, it didn't feel like it felt like a whole new thing. Like, like I can see her every day now. This is great. We can hang out and I'm all over her. So yeah, she can't.
Literally.
What ended the toxicity? Was it moving in together or was it before then?
I think the second breakup was a little more serious.
Yes.
Because it was like almost 2 months. I mean, maybe 6 to 8 weeks or something like that.
That's forever.
Yeah, it's a long time. It's a long time. Yeah. So I think after that, we kind of just was like, if we're going to do this, let's do it. Yeah. But I think definitely moving in together really took us to that next level. I think we learned different parts of each other we didn't know before.
Right.
So that kind of opened up that door for us.
So all the breakups that you had happened prior to...
Yeah, they were all while we were long distance.
I guess that's good.
right. No.
Yeah, imagine I move here and like we're breaking up. Honestly, no, we not.
right. Where we gonna go? Right. I already told Travis, you keeping the kids. Bye.
Peace out. But we barely argue. Like now it's like, now that we're together, it's like all the things we used to argue about are like
so
are
stupid.
gone. It's like we're here. I'm with you. Like
that's good.
We're good.
And something Jadi, you said earlier was you're kind of actively changing being defensive, right? A lot of times I notice in relationships problems arise because people are like, that's just how I am.
Yeah.
And that fear to grow, like we're in our 30s, but we could still grow as individuals, right? I know with Travis, I've had a lot of that defensiveness and I'll be like, I need a second. And that's me. Like, I know sometimes I need a moment because if I reply right away, it's going to be too spicy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes, sometimes it slips out.
Yeah.
Sometimes like if, it's the wrong day or like whatever, and you catch me at the wrong time, like I still might say something hurtful.
Yeah.
But I've also learned to like, be like, can we start over? Like, hold on. Like, that was wrong or whatever. Like, we have grown so much as individuals that being in this partnership is, like, so much easier. Like, everything that we went through when we were toxic and, like, all the communication and all that stuff that we had to rebuild has made this part of us living together and everything so much easier because, like, it's like he knows, what my, like, how to get under my skin so he doesn't do it. I know what I can say to, like, get him a little crazy. So like I like to think that we're both actively doing that. Right. Because I also see his growth. So I'm like, if he's grown so much and changed so much to make this work, who am I to be like, well, this is just how I am? Like, no, we both need to change certain things and meet halfway. Like, that's just how it is.
Right. I'm glad she, not everybody can admit they have to change too.
Yeah,
like, oh, I did mess up a few times, but you pushed me to that limit. So I was like, I wouldn't have got there if you didn't push me.
And I did it on purpose.
I don't want to get too far from your beginning because I have a did you know that I think you both could chime in on. So a did you know, like a random relationship fact. So did you know it only takes 4 minutes to decide whether or not you like someone? So going back to you two meeting up, was it instant? Did you like, all right, I made the right decision meeting up with her or him?
Yeah, I think we had a blast.
Like, 4 minutes?
I don't know about 4 minutes, I don't know about 4 minutes, She was getting in the car. I'm trying to remember.
I
was talking
oh my
in the
God.
car.
I was so nervous. Like
He had the knife. Like.
Go ahead, try something, motherfucker. Try it.
I was like not dressed for the weather. I was like wearing these high heels. It was like raining out. I almost like fell when I came because he picked me up. So I was like almost fell coming out of the house because I was like nervous, and he says he didn't see it.
I didn't see it.
But I was like so embarrassed because I was like, oh my God, he saw that. So like in the car, it was kind of a little bit quiet because I was like nervous. I don't know if you were nervous.
Yeah, of course.
And then like we're just listening to music and like, okay, so we're just gonna go get
Right. I
dinner.
do remember the hookah lady. She wouldn't change the song. Like she had the worst music on. And I was like, yo, can we set a vibe or something on a date? She's like, no, we can't change it.
Yeah,
and then as we were leaving, the music changed.
Yeah.
I was like, I do remember that, but I don't think it was 4 minutes. I think
No.
maybe an hour into the date, it was like, because it was the first time we're meeting, so I was
In
like,
person,
we FaceTime and stuff, but I think in person it's like you can,
it's different.
It's just a little awkward at first, just because there was so much conversation beforehand. It's like, are you about everything you said, or what,
And physical chemistry is important too.
Right.
You ever hug someone and it's like awkward?
Oh yeah.
I hate that.
What am I doing?
Was it 4 minutes for you?
I was really intoxicated when I
I remember you caught my eye immediately.
But same. He caught my eye. Like the minute I saw you, I was like, damn. I don't know why. Like I instantly was attracted to you for sure when we met.
Okay. So about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 5 to 10.
Right.
And then it was like, like I said, he's not really social. So I was like waiting, like, why you don't want to come dance with me? Like, what the fuck?
Right.
There was some drunk guy talking to her.
Yeah.
And she gave me those help me eyes.
Like, okay, now I had to shoot my shot because he was ignoring me.
Oh.
It worked out.
Hey,
He's
whatever
like,
worked.
it'll happen.
Right. Yeah, she'll come to me.
He's mad chill and quiet. But I feel like that's what makes you even more attractive. Like you're just mad, playing it cool the whole time.
Yeah.
You're like, motherfucker, no.
Right. I remember on our first date, you were like, I'm having a great time. And I was like, you are?
He was shocked. I'm like, yeah.
Because he looks like...
Yeah. He's like, I'm having, this is great. I'm like, oh, okay, it's going good. Like, I mean, we were talking and like, it wasn't like boring or anything like that. I knew I was having a good time, but I was like, damn, is he having fun? Like he drove all this way.
I was a little tired, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was a little tired, but
yeah.
Steph does the same thing to me. She's like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm cool.
Yeah, I'm chilling.
Because you look miserable all the time.
And I'm happy.
He has like the male version of resting bitch
Same,
face.
yeah.
Oh yeah. People think I'm angry all the time.
Yeah.
And then
like,
usually I'm just
so
pretty chill.
fiery, like people say. Some people are like, what'd you do to Travis? I'm like, the fuck? I didn't do anything. Like, that's just his face.
Right.
But people like don't believe him when you're like, he's having fun. People are like, yeah, okay.
I don't even like him to drink when we go out because he's a lightweight and then he looks even more tired. I'm
having a blast, but
he looks like he is high even though he just had a beer. I'm like, oh God. People are going to think you're so bored.
I'm chilling. I feel seen.
Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Like, we went to a rooftop party with her friends. What was that, last summer?
Yeah.
Last summer?
Yeah.
And I'm just chilling in the corner drinking beers and, I'm just enjoying the music. DJ's doing their thing or whatever. I'm like, and her friends are like, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? Like, you want to party with us? I'm like, I'm good.
And I think that's probably even more annoying when people are like, are you okay? Are you okay?
Right.
Like, yeah, I'm fine. I would leave if I wasn't.
And there was one friend, like, her friend, Emily, she was like, I've seen the whole setup. Like, she was talking to her man, like, low key pointing at me, like, like, go talk to him. I'm like, oh, shit.
I hate that.
Like, I don't want to talk. Like, I just want to chill. But he was cool, though.
He didn't want to talk either. He was like, listen, I was in here.
Yeah.
So
we chatted for like 5 minutes. I was like, bro, you don't have to stay here.
Steph has set me up on a mandate.
Really?
Did I? Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
He set me up on a mandate, and it was just it was one date.
yeah.
He never called again.
What'd you do?
Right?
He thought I wasn't interested.
I just feel like for women, or maybe us, because we're very social, but a bunch of women will be like, we're doing this, we're taking this fitness class, we're taking this.
Yeah.
And I could hang out socially with different women all the time. I don't see Travis ever doing that. So I think I just set you up one time.
As a man, like, we find our people, and it's not forced.
Yeah.
Like, me and Kevin might kick it. And it might not lead to anything. But
He's setting you up. Like, I might not call.
Just let me down easy. All right? I'm tough on the outside, but I'm soft on the
I
inside.
know not to play basketball with him, though.
Right? Date? No.
Right. I'm like, we're gonna set
we'll
this
swap
up.
numbers.
Yeah, we can go on a double date one day. Get some dinner or something. You
Down
guys seem
for
like
that.
cool
Makes
people.
it easier. You don't have to do
Then
the
if
heavy lifting.
Things
with the
go well.
social.
We'll slide off in the corner. And
I have a better idea. So you and Stephanie do a podcast episode, and me and Travis do.
Oh, mix share. We can do a mix share. Yeah, that'd be
That'd be
fun.
cool.
That'd be fun. Like a podcast swap. Kind
Yeah.
Wife swap.
Wife
Wife
swap.
swap.
Wife swap. Yeah.
That'll be super, super interesting. Another thing that I wanted to talk to both of you about, because I'm struggling with Travis on this.
Breaking news.
He's not aware.
Maintaining an active lifestyle. You both are very active.
In the sense of like
Like
fitness,
physically, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Fitness, physically. Whoa, that kind of sounded weird.
You guys are having a lot of sex.
We're pretty active. No.
We're okay in that department. But, like your physical health, like you do a lot of yoga. Do you CrossFit or you do lift fit?
Yeah,
Okay.
CrossFit, yeah.
So is that something that's important to your relationship, or just individually and it just kind of works out that way?
I'll say I'm not the most active person.
Okay.
It's actually very surprising because like I do a lot of yoga, and like I've been getting into like moving my body a lot more lately, especially after the pandemic. But fitness has never been a big thing for me because like I am like naturally a small person. Like it's in my family genes, and I never thought that I had to work out until I noticed how sluggish I was feeling and like just like tired and lazy. And also it was affecting my mental health a lot. I'm like, I have so much going on and I didn't have an outlet for it. So when I started working out, I'm like, damn it, this really works. Like,
Don't tell me that.
Like,
that's me.
Right. I'm like, it's true what people say. Like, you really feel better after.
Right.
Damn it, I have to start working out.
we were living in Astoria for like 3 years prior to moving into Rochelle, and I ride my bike everywhere in Astoria. So I've been telling her every day, like, listen, come outside one time, just get a bike. We ride together, just hit up. We can go to Brooklyn. We can get some food, get a drink, get some coffee or whatever. Didn't do it till the last day we were living there. And we went for a bike ride, and she was like, oh my God, this is so much fun.
Yeah, like it was amazing. It was like so much. I was like, are you kidding me? This is what I've been missing. Right. Like we went and got coffee. Like we went to the park. We were riding the bike, and I'm like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like obviously, like it's you're working, so you don't feel like I was feeling tired, but I was like, this is great. Right. So like he's been a lot into fitness.
Yeah, probably the last 4 years I've been taking it a little more serious. I had surgery like 5 years ago, spine surgery. So I made a promise to myself, like, keep moving, just one step at a time. Like I couldn't do anything 5 years ago. Like I couldn't lift weight at all. Yeah. And now I'm like squatting like 330 almost. So
I'm trying to, I always try to push Travis because he clearly doesn't work out ever, but he looks fine, right?
That's not clear.
Clearly.
No, but I'm saying he looks good without working out. So it's like what you said, you're naturally slim, so I don't have to.
But let's be honest. I think early this week, I've been having conversations with her. I'm like, I need a multivitamin. I need to go do this. I need to go do that. So it's on my mind. Yeah. But actually putting into action is different.
Yeah.
And hearing you say that the working out actually made you have more energy, I'm just like, fuck.
Yeah, you gotta do it.
If you can knock it out first thing in the morning,
right?
It's like the rest of your day is going to be so much easier.
But also, I think it's important to find what you like. Because, like, if I start doing, like, CrossFit, I might die. Yeah. You know what I mean? No, he is, like, convinced that I might like it. And I'm like, do you know me at all?
Feeling, like,
I
defeated?
really enjoy, like, the yoga. Like, I really enjoy, like, moving my body a certain way and like find like, oh my God, there's a muscle there. Like, what the hell? I've never used that before, you know?
I like doing outdoor activities more.
Yeah. So we've
being
done
like
yoga.
stationary on the Peloton is not fun to me.
I remember you were upset with me. So I had went on a hike with some of my friends and it was amazing. I loved it. I'm like, I want to go hiking now, which we haven't really done. But then he went with us and the whole time I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? He goes, why do you think that like I can't handle this? He was upset with me.
And I had a blast.
Yeah.
And I can do outdoor activities, even running, anything. I can do it, climb anything. But it's just something about being still in one spot.
You get bored.
I get bored. I need that stimulation.
You know what caused me to think you would hate it? Our experience in Costa Rica.
Oh God, because I wasn't mentally prepared for it.
And you were upset at me.
We went zip lining, and I didn't know how much like walking and climbing.
You have to go all the way up the mountain.
It was just a lot. I thought we just go from zip line to zip line.
It wasn't like a theme park. So like I went zip lining in Mexico before, but it was like set up for it. You know, it was like there were stairs and it was very light. In Costa Rica, it was like in the jungle. And it was like a small business that they kind of put logs on trees. It was like real zip lining.
I would have been walking my ass back down that.
The whole time he was like upset. And I'm like, oh,
and I
God.
think one time, I actually have a clip. I'll post it. But I got stuck in the middle and I had to pull myself.
Oh, no.
And if you see my face, I'm just like, fuck.
And then there were like other couples and I'm all bubbly and excited. He's like pissed off. I was like embarrassed. I'm like, oh my God.
I need to start naming my personalities. Like,
So then after that, I'm like, he just doesn't like outdoors activities. He doesn't like this. And then on the hike, you were like, what's up with you? I'm fine.
Yeah, so find what you like.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I'll like CrossFit.
I actually love yoga, so I do yoga with her all the time. It's actually perfect for like my rest days to do some yoga with her because I can kind of keep that mobility and flexibility.
Yeah.
When I started the 30 days in the first episode, she's like, tell your loved ones, have someone join you. I was like, babe, I'm starting yoga for 30 days if you want to join me. And he's still quiet. I'm like, you don't have to if you don't want to. He was like, okay.
Okay, cool.
Don't get me an out.
He's like, all right, say no more.
But you got to be able to touch your toes, baby.
Yeah, that's true.
You get there. You'll get there.
He's like, nah.
That could be our double date. We'll do that.
Right, we can do yoga.
Yeah, we do. We've done outdoors.
Outdoor yoga in the park.
Amazing.
It's like majestic. Like the end where they have you like rest and lay there for a minute. You hear the birds chirping. The sun's like hitting your face, and it just like you just feel one with.
One night she didn't come to bed because she fell asleep on the floor
after yoga.
It was the rest day, and she was like, "Have a pillow and a blanket."
You just knocked out.
I knocked out for like an hour and a half. I'm a sucker for views. So like if we do a hike, like I love that because once we get to the top, I'm like,
she's been wanting to do a hike for a while.
Yeah, I've been wanting to do it.
Yeah,
Are you part of Hood Hikers?
Nope.
So we can do that.
Yeah,
there's like it's run by like a Black woman.
Okay.
And she only brings like people of color and like Black people to go on these hikes because I don't know if like you guys know, but a lot of really unfortunate things happen to people of color and Black people when they go and do like outdoor stuff with like white people, like they might not come back.
Oh shit.
So there's this white woman this Black woman who created this group, and it's like sign up only. So she sends out the hikes and like you have to sign up and like everybody meets there. So I've been wanting to do that, but always like every time she has a hike, we have something going on. So it's like, damn,
I'd be down for that. That'd be a cool double date.
Yeah. I'll send you the info.
All right. So any last Casaroma things that you want our audience to know?
I actually did want to talk about this, and it's like how we are protecting ourselves in this business venture.
Okay.
Since we're not married, right?
Oh, you're not married. It's true. So how are you protecting each other? I know you mentioned she's majority owner.
I am. So I think that the way to talk about this is like as business partners, because like marriage is something that we speak about, as a couple, and like it's something that we want, right? Okay. Like we speak about wanting to get married. So it's not like, oh, I'm not one of those people who's like, I don't need to get married. Like I definitely want to get married.
I always wonder like if that's rude to ask. Like, what's the plans? Do you want to get married? Like, it's something I try not to ask my guests.
Yeah.
But thank you for bringing it up.
No, and I think sometimes it is kind of
rude. I mean, in a podcast setting, it's fine. But,
yeah.
you know.
But
when it's
People
the same
ask, like,
person every week or every month,
right.
Or even the baby question.
right?
Oh
Yes.
yeah, that's so.
Yes.
Then it's like, we'll let you know. You'll know. You'll be the first one to know.
Right. So a lot of people, we've been together a long time. So like people are always like, so when are you going to get married? And
All
it's
right,
like,
what makes
so,
you think you're invited to the wedding?
so it's always like a joke between, like, we always talk about it like, oh, he has a joke and it's like, oh, she hasn't asked me yet, which will never happen.
I
I
told
was
her,
gonna say,
if she
y'all know
asked
how I feel about that, right?
I was like, if she
Yeah.
asks me, the answer is yes, no matter what. But
I will never ask.
Please don't.
no,
That's
she-
my take on
I know
it.
she never will, but yeah.
So like marriage is still on the table, I think. Oh, of course. But but like I'm not gonna be like, we need to get married because we need to open a business. Like that's just not the way to
Right,
go about it.
For me, they're two separate things.
Yeah, they're
I feel
two
like
separate entities.
I feel like opening a business together is a bigger responsibility than a marriage, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh, hot take. Why?
Personally, I feel like we operate like a married couple already. So I think, it's just a certificate and maybe changing your tax status. But other
Makes
than
it
that,
official.
there's no real, we'll have a nice ceremony and stuff, but there's no real difference in changing how we're living.
Our lifestyle.
Right. Our lifestyle is going to be the same. Business, LLCs, I don't know if you know, they're in perpetual, you can't end it unless every partner agrees to end it and dissolve it. So I think this kind of, puts us in a position that we're locked in this together forever, kind of.
Yeah,
Right.
congratulations on your marriage.
We actually did do a domestic partnership.
Yeah.
She doesn't think it's a real thing.
No.
But,
I'm just like,
I'm
whatever.
like, we should throw a party, domestic
No,
partnership.
absolutely
What's
not.
the benefits of that?
So she did quit her job, so I can put her on my benefits if she's my official partner.
Oh,
Yeah.
dope.
So
So there is some paperwork involved.
Yeah, just
So
it's a
it's
nice little
like,
process. But
I'm protected in that sense, and like it's still kind of one of those things. Like we still like have separate taxes and everything, but like since we are partners and we've lived together for this amount of time, I am entitled to that. So like,
Healthcare, yes.
yeah,
And in this country, that's so
right.
important.
So that's like very important. So like we were like, no brainer, we can do that. But it's not in lieu of like a marriage certificate. It's not like replacement for that. But I think the business part is like it's almost a little bit, I don't want to say better, but it's very beneficial to go into it just as business partners.
right.
Because it's like I'm majority owner, there is equity involved, there is paperwork, there are contracts, like we have our third partner, we know how much he owns. And when it comes to the operation of the coffee shop, like we're not separating responsibilities because we're in this partnership as a couple. So we're not like, hey, you didn't submit the paperwork. It's like, oh, do you need me to do this? So it gives us more flexibility. But the bottom line is a business, and I own 50% of that business. You know what I mean? So like it's a little bit of both, like the best of both worlds kind of.
I love it. I was like, what you mean a business is more than a marriage?
No.
I got defensive for a second.
No.
But no, that makes sense. I totally get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense.
What does success look like for you with this coffee shop?
Wow, that's such a loaded question. I might get a little emotional. I'm not going to lie. But I think that success for me just looks like building community and bringing that community to a place where it's so needed right now. Like we've done like so much research. Like we went to all these coffee shops and we've looked up places, and there's always an element missing. Like either the coffee is really good and there's no vibe, or like there's an amazing vibe but the coffee wasn't good, or like customer service wasn't great. So I think we have all these tools to bring like amazing coffee with, like information about our culture, like my culture, his culture. We want to bring people together so they can collaborate and like build community. So like those three, like culture, community, collaboration, that is in our mission. That is what is really driving this. So for me, success would be to see that, like to see, our first kind of like Casaroma baby, like whether it be like two people who met there have now a deal, or like have a song together, or like, Donnell has so many ideas of like filming different things in the shop. So seeing that like immortalized, like seeing our shop immortalized in that way, I think that for me is what success would look like. I'm not thinking too much about the financials. I know he is.
No, that's important because all of this can't even exist if you don't have the money to keep the doors open. So how is that gonna play a role in
I have a number in my mind. I won't say it on here, but
Okay.
there's a number of cups she needs to sell every day for
She
me.
needs to sell every day. I'm like, damn.
For me to quit my job. There's an exact number.
Yes,
She knows
I've heard it many times.
She knows the number, so
You should get a tattoo of it.
Like cross it out. X amount of cups.
but that's one measure. But part of the mission of Casaroma Cafe is to develop other businesses in the neighborhood. There's an opportunity in that neighborhood specifically for the Black community to kind of build their own. So we're putting the roots down, we're building the pillars, but we want to help others go through the process we went through that I know. Just, I'm a master, I have my MBA, so I know this stuff. It's easy for me, but I want to be able to share that information and pass it down to other businesses, people with amazing ideas and don't know how to, execute it or get it out there and don't know how to get funding or whatever. So we want to be able to invest our time and energy into other companies that can, come up in the neighborhood.
Gatekeeping.
Right. We can really I don't want to say take over the neighborhood, but we can set up something for all of our people to kind of eat.
Why New Rochelle?
I think they're developing the city to be like, have you been to like Long Island City area recently?
Not in a while,
but it's like, it was like a warehouse land, like nothing there really, but it's like all these tower buildings now.
That's where I took you for your birthday at that place by the water.
Oh, Blend on the water.
Blend, yeah.
Blend on the very nice place. But they're developing the whole area with all these high rises and buildings. So we got in now just because the rents are very low because they're not developed yet. There's only a few buildings open, but this time next year, there will be a lot more buildings open. So
in New Rochelle.
Yeah. So, if you can get in this year, I mean, now is kind of the right time to kind of start.
Our lease is literally up April 31st.
I already told Travis, I'm like, you guys need to move to Rochelle.
Oh yeah. If you can, there's I can introduce you to the building we're going to be in if you really want to be close to the Casaroma Cafe. But yeah, that would be success for me is if I can help others open businesses who have ideas and don't know where to go.
Right.
We want this to be the place you come. You ask Kevin and Yadi for some help. We got you.
Yeah, and there's so many Black-owned businesses already in there, like in that area, but it's not to, whether they have a good product or not, they're not built to that level. Like I think, personally, I think they don't have that confidence to be like, this is a Black-owned business. We have the greatest fried shrimp in the area, even though they have the certificates on, on their windows and they have the great Yelp reviews. You just don't feel like they
loud
know.
And proud.
Yeah, like they don't know that. So my plan is as soon as we open, I'm going to have all these small business mixers. I'm going to introduce people and build that community and be like, did you know there's so-and-so over here and it's Black owned, it's women owned. Like I want to be that, the person that we've been for other people in our lives for like when we did Wolf and Unicorn, bringing those talented people together. I want to continue that to like all the businesses in New Rochelle and be like, listen, look at what we got.
Yeah, we can help you with this or this person could do that. And
community takes a village.
Right.
Yeah.
When's the grand opening or soft opening or?
We have so many opening plans.
So we're figuring out. We're finalizing our lease.
Yeah.
So it's been going on for a while.
Yeah. So the lease negotiations, I think. I don't know if it's just our experience, but it's been a little slower because we'll send out a counter and then it'll take like 3 or 4 days for us to get it back with his counter. And then I'm like, oh, I don't like this line here. And then back and forth. So we've been doing this for almost 3 weeks now, just going back and forth.
I think it's been over a month.
Probably a month.
Yeah, because we reached an agreement, a verbal agreement. I remember February 21st. And like,
that's Eli's birthday.
Was that the day we went to the shop?
We went to the shop and met with
So we
Frank.
didn't have a verbal agreement until like a week and a half after that. Because we agree that we have some things
so it was like
to
a
work
meet
out.
and greet with the owner and like to check out each other's vibes, I guess. And it went well. So I was like, okay, so where's the lease? Like,
right, we're ready to sign.
But you're like, I'm reading all the fine print on everything, which is good.
Right. So we didn't even get a final version of the lease yet. So we won't announce any location, anything like that yet. But once we get the final version, we'll do an official announcement. But the plan is if we can sign it next week, our lawyer's ready to go, and 6 to 8 weeks is our timeline to be open. So we're thinking May, hopefully.
I kept saying April, and now it's
originally,
May.
if everything had gone to our original timeline, April would have been the date.
Yeah.
But because I want everything needs to be right. I don't want to be stuck with, weird rules in New Rochelle. So, we're hiring the right people to kind of do the right thing. So, but yeah, May is the projected date. May, June.
We'll be there.
Yeah.
Yes, we will.
Oh, you better be.
I'm excited.
Hopefully you'll be New Rochelle residents at some point. Walk on over.
We'll talk when the camera starts rolling.
That was awesome. It was really nice meeting you too.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
It's fun when you get to meet your social media friends in
Right,
person.
yeah.
I'm not as active as her on social media, so I'm sure you guys talk. I don't say much online. I saw you guys commented on my poll when I was like, "Who's calling out today?"
Oh, was that me?
I don't know, but I put you guys on my close friends. That's where the action really happened.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah. You called out that you had a pretty fun day.
Yeah, he did. And I was like, "You're a bad influence."
And this is going on YouTube, so
right.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's a mental health day.
He's really good at his job.
Yeah, he is.
Everybody needs a mental health day.
Of course.
I promote that a lot on if I'm talking about something, it's like, call out. Who cares? It's a job.
I even had one with my son a couple of months ago, like from school. Like it was like raining, and then we made it a thing.
Yeah, it's needed.
It's definitely
I call
needed.
out when it's nice out. We're gonna have a time.
You ready?
Yeah. So we always end these podcasts. I ask my wife, baby,
Daddy.
I'm gonna change it up. Kevin, Yari, do you still like us?
Yes, of course.
I don't know. Hey, you guys validate parking here? No.
We do that.
I love you guys. This is awesome. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you so
much.
much. Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Bye.